Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. A missing person may be tracked down because his personal history and habits are known. But when he has no predictable habits, the problem is difficult and becomes dangerous when those unpredictable habits are mixed with uncontrollable homicidal tendencies. Haldor Mattern, an ordinary-appearing man with extraordinarily strong hands, was such a person. The search for missing persons is a police function which the Highway Patrol is uniquely equipped to perform by reason of its mobility and widespread jurisdiction.
Here. This is where we found the last trace of him. The hat was lying right about there.
Doctor, when did you first miss him?
About an hour ago.
Can you give me his full name and his description?
Well, his name's Haldor Mattern. He's about 5'11", 160 pounds. He's about 54. He's gray hair. He's wearing the regulation uniform, you know, the gray pants and the gray shirt and sneakers.
Yeah, he could have gone any place, up and down this road or into the woods here.
Well, I brought his sweater. They said to bring something to give the dogs a scent.
Come here. $21.50 to headquarters.
Go ahead, 2150.
I'm on the north side of the Riverhead Mental Hospital. Here's a description of the escaped patient. Hold on. Go ahead, doctor.
5'11", 160.
5'11", 160 pounds, age 54. Gray pants, shirt.
No hat and sneakers.
No hat and sneakers. Have you got that? All right, hold on. I'll get back to you. They just brought the dogs in. 10-4?
10-4.
Here, let me have these. Take these. The dogs will get the scent from it.
Don't the dogs have to smell something that actually touches the ground, like shoes?
No, they'll pick the scent out of the air. Now, look, tell me more about this guy. His family, where he's from, who he knows on the outside.
Well, he has no family. He was brought to us after an Army medical discharge. We only know that in this confused state of mind, you can't tell what he's liable to do, what quirk his mind will take. But he tends to violence if triggered off.
And what's the trigger?
Well, the thing that triggers him off is usually his hands or violin playing. We do know that he was a frustrated violinist. We think that's what started all his illness.
What set him off this time?
Same thing as last time. One of the patients at the hospital didn't believe him. You see, Mattern tells everyone that he's given concerts at Carnegie Hall.
The cunning of Haldor Mattern asserted itself again. Suspecting that bloodhounds would be brought into the search, he hit upon a simple ruse. He very carefully backtracked in his own footsteps from the water to the road. He knew that his scent would stop at the water, and he hoped that his pursuers would believe that he had entered it in an effort to elude the bloodhounds.
Must have picked up something. Come on, let's go. Probably went in the woods. He's heading for the highway on the other side. Have somebody bring my car around in case he gets through. Come on.
So you live in Stanfield, huh? Well, I'm glad to take you in. My farm's just back about 40 miles. Say, you know Mrs. Eileen Haley in Stanfield, a widow? Imagine me at my age, traipsing off on a 500-mile trip with a widow I never seen. Well, mister, it's, your name slipped me.
Mattern. Halder Mattern, the violinist.
Well, sir, seeing as how 500 miles is a bit more than I care to drive myself, well, I got this letter from this friend of mine I'm going to visit. I got it right here, you see. You know, asking me if I'd like to share the driving with this friend of his. That's just Mrs. Haley. Well, sir, I just jumped at the chance. Of course, I didn't just come right out and say, why, sure, I'll be glad to take her. No, sir. Mrs. Haley and me, we just kept writing back and forth to each other, you know, finding out about each other. A couple of weeks. You see, I don't want no long-winded woman burning my ears for 500 miles. No, sir. But she sounds nice, real nice. Plays the piano, so she wrote me. Say, you must be working on your fiddle.
Why?
Well, that hand of yours. Gosh, you know, I caught my hand in a gear once and jumped like that for more than a year.
My hand does not jump.
Oh, well, it sure does.
My hand does not jump.
Well, mister, I'm not blind.
How could I play the violin if my hand jumped?
Are you sure you can? Play the fiddle?
They went in here all right.
Pretty good swim across that lake.
Well, he might have gone upstream or down to throw the dogs off.
Let's try it this way.
Right. Come on.
No luck.
Well, he didn't come out down there.
Try it up that way.
How far up you want me to go?
I don't know, what about a half a mile?
Right.
Come on.
I'm afraid, Mr. Wilson, I won't be able to talk intelligently about your work, farming. My field is music. I teach the piano now, and once upon a time played with the Dallas Symphony Orchestra. I will expect you about noon, Friday, September 8th. I'll be ready. I'm too old to keep gentlemen waiting. James Wilson, RFD 26, Glenville. Born December 20th, 1900. Height 5 feet 11. Weight 160. Eyes blue. Hair gray. James Wilson, you're my friend. You're going to help me to get away from here. You are too, Mrs. Haley.
Sure didn't come out of the stream that way.
Call from headquarters.
About what?
Dead man's been found in the brush about 3 miles up the highway. Farmer named Roback phoned in. He's at the scene now.
That could have been Madden or somebody you met. All right, keep looking. I'll go up the highway and take a look at the dead man.
Matthews. If you find Mattern, remember he's a mental patient. Try not to excite him. Excitement can trigger him off.
I'll try not to.
You believe in being on time. So do I. You are, Mr. Wilson.
Mrs. Haley?
You don't look exactly the way I expected, but I guess I don't either. Shall we go?
Oh, allow me. I'm a farmer. We're pretty strong.
Goodbye, dear.
Who is that?
My sister. We both couldn't go, so we drew straws. I was the lucky one.
With a report from headquarters that a dead body had been found 3 miles from where the bloodhounds had lost Mattern's trail, Dan Matthews feared that he would find the first victim of Mattern's homicidal mania.
It's not Madden. Looks like he's got a broken neck. What can you tell me about this?
Well, not much. I was coming down the road, and this black sedan pulled out of the brush, almost hit me, and kept right on going, too, south. I stopped mad in the wet hand, and I figured, kind of funny the way he pulled out like that, so I went over to look, and...
Did you get the license number?
No, I didn't.
Can you describe the car and the driver?
Oh, just that it was a medium-sized sedan. That's all I remember, and... Oh, it was a fella driving.
$21.50 to headquarters.
Go ahead, 2150.
More on the Madden case. A little unit south of Riverhead. Madden might be driving a sedan. What color?
It was black.
Black. Send out the coroner and the lab boys, too. 10-4?
10-4.
2150 to 1103.
Go ahead, 2150.
Check with me 3 miles south on Highway 7. Bring the dogs.
I'm so grateful to you for taking me. If you ever want me to drive...
If I get tired. Tell me, Mrs. Haley, were you a soloist with the Dallas Orchestra?
Oh, no. My piano playing isn't that good.
Pick it up, Annie. Pick it up, Ross. Pick it up, Annie.
There's no doubt about it, huh?
He was here, all right.
Mason! Make sure nothing's touched till the boys get here.
Mr. Matthews, shouldn't we concentrate on finding Mattern?
Well, if we can identify the body, we can identify his car. We know Mattern's driving. All we need to find it is a description and the license number.
They're on to something.
All right, take him away.
Come on.
Sales receipts. Made out to a James Wilson, RFD 26, Glenville. Madden must have planted these under the rock. $21.50 to headquarters.
Go ahead, 2150.
Madden case. What disposition's been made of the unit south of Riverhead?
All roads under surveillance south of Riverhead.
Have we got a patrol at Glenville? That's north of me.
Stand by. 3240 just outside of Glenville.
Have him proceed to Glenville and check on a James Wilson, RFD 26. I want a description of him and the car he might have been driving south on Highway 7 in the vicinity of Riverhead at 11 a.m. today. 10-4?
10-4.
I'll proceed south on Highway 7. 10-4.
You know, I seem to remember in one of your letters you're saying that you didn't know anything about music.
Oh, I couldn't have.
May I see your license, please?
Of course, officer. Have it right in here. There you are.
Would you mind taking it out of there, please?
Are you looking for a robber?
No, ma'am. We're looking for a mental patient who escaped from the Riverhead Center Hospital this afternoon.
Is he dangerous?
Well, we aren't sure, ma'am. We stole a vehicle, though. Thank you. What's your date of birth, Mr. Wilson?
December 20th, 1900.
Where are you heading, ma'am?
We're going to Centerville to visit some friends.
Well, be careful. Don't pick up any strangers. The fellow we're looking for is rather elderly. We aren't sure how he's dressed. The clothes he has on are stolen.
Thank you, officer. We'll be careful.
You've been so quiet, Mrs. Haley. What were you saying before?
Well, I was saying, hoping that he wasn't dangerous.
Who?
The man who escaped.
Oh, I mean, what were you saying about music before the patrolman stopped us?
Oh, well, I was saying that I was sure that you wrote me that you had no ear for music.
Nonsense.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I seem to remember. I've developed a headache.
I have an excellent ear. Perhaps the best in the country, certainly the best for violin, the most difficult of all instruments.
Do you play?
Don't look at my hands.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything, Mr. Wilson.
I can play with the best of them. From Paganini to Menuhin, any of them.
From the foreman of a farm in Glenville, a highway patrol officer secured information identifying the dead man as the owner of the farm, James Wilson. The officer also learned of Wilson's appointment with Eileen Haley. He immediately reported this and a description of the stolen car to Dan Matthews, who had been checking roadside gas stations and diners in the area. On learning that James Wilson was to have picked up Eileen Haley at her address in Stanfield, Matthews started for her house.
$12.01 to $21.50.
$21.50 by.
Described car and woman passenger. Passed me approximately 1 hour ago. Going south at moderate speed. Man showed me Wilson's identification.
$21.50 to headquarters.
Go ahead, 2150.
Matter's going south on Highway 7. He's about 20, 25, 30 miles south of Stanfield. I'm proceeding south. 10-4?
10-4. Why are we stopping again, Mr. Wilson?
It's just easier to talk when I'm not driving.
Well, then would you like me to drive?
No. And another thing, stop looking at my hands. And at my shoes.
I'm not.
My clothes.
I'm not.
Do you find my hands unsuitable for the violin?
No.
Then stop looking at them. I'm sick and tired of having everyone look at my hands.
Shall we drive, Mr. Wilson?
I won't have it. I won't allow it. I won't tolerate it.
Nothing yet. checked every spot between here and from where they passed me.
Then they're still ahead of you. Keep checking.
You mean you've never heard of James Wilson, the violin virtuoso? At my last concert, I played the Paganini. There's nothing more difficult. Encore after encore. And you've never heard of me?
I have, Mr. Wilson.
Then why don't you applaud?
Let me go, let me go.
My bow hand. You've maimed it.
No.
Look what you've done. I'll never play again.
They haven't got by us.
Oh, they must have. They got by the last checkpoint. There's no crossroads between here and there.
I know there isn't, but...
Look, this is your territory. What do you know about it? Any dirt roads, a farm road, anything?
A dirt track alongside the underpass.
All right, you stay here. Let's you and I take a look. Come on.
I didn't hurt your hand. Please believe me, I didn't hurt it.
Ordinary people never understand. Maiming my hand is worse than killing, worse than murder. You've deprived the world of life, my creation of music.
Right ahead there.
Look. We might be too late already. Hold it. If she's alive, let's keep her that way. Dr. Hill told me what triggered him off. Now, Wilson's got a broken neck. We gotta get right on top of this guy before he can use his hands.
He probably heard the car when we drove up.
He figures we're gonna pass him. We'll pass him. All right, you drive. Slow.
A life for a life. It will be over quickly. My hand is strong.
Oh, hello there.
Hello?
Wait a minute. Your face is very familiar.
Well, that's possible. I'm not unknown. Do you ever go to concerts?
Violin recitals?
Yes. Carnegie Hall?
The violin virtuoso. You couldn't be. Believe me, sir, this is an honor.
Oh, you do remember my last concert at Carnegie Hall.
I'll never forget it.
Then, would you do me a favor? A great favor. Would you come back with me? There's a certain person I want you to tell that I did play there. He won't believe me, but he will believe you. Would you come?
Yeah, sure. Where is it?
Riverhead Hospital. You see, I hurt my hand, and they're trying to cure it.
How's the other one?
Oh, it's all right. As good as ever. All I want for is to have you vouch for me. Just to tell them that I did play there.
Yeah, sure. We'll go right away. Mrs. Haley, you stay here. Come on, let's take my car. Next week's Highway Patrol story is a very unusual one. I hope you'll be with us. Until then, remember, it isn't the car that kills, it's the driver. This is Broderick Crawford saying, see you next week.
Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. Telephone communications keep the highway patrol in constant touch with its field of activity. Incoming calls concern violations of traffic laws, accidents on the highway, fugitives at large. On the morning of September 9th, still another kind of telephone call was received, an anonymous one.
Highway Patrol, Sergeant Milan. It's for you.
I'll take it here. Dan Matthews here.
Here's a tip for you, Matthews. You'd better round up Johnny Barr and all these men. They're planning a murder. A big one.
Trace this call. Speak up a little bit, will you? I think we got a bad connection.
I said Johnny Barr is planning a murder. You better apprehend him at once.
Who's the victim supposed to be?
I don't know.
What did you say your name was again?
I'm sorry, I cannot reveal that.
Then I'm afraid we can't help you.
You've been warned, Matthews. You might regret it if you fail to act on this call.
Look, we get 100 calls a day from crackpots.
I'm not a crackpot. I know what I'm talking about. Now, you've got to believe me. You've got to stop Johnny Barr before it's too late.
What do you got? Come on, come on, come on. That's a big help. A phone booth on 3rd and Center.
What was it?
Oh, it's a tip that Johnny Barr's out gunning for somebody.
Well, that's a story of his life. If he could just prove it.
Said it was going to be a big one. Can't afford to ignore it. You know, Barr might have a reason. He's the main target for the new crime commission.
You think it could be someone connected with the crime commission?
We're going to have to find out. Joe, get me the mugshots and the records of anybody known to be working with Johnny Barr, will you?
They may not all show up in the files. The Barr might have a couple of clean ones on the payroll.
City PD intelligence will have a record if anybody does. You know, Barr's too cagey to let this kind of news get around. Either that call was from one of Barr's men or it's a phony. We're going to have to find out which. Look, get me a list of all the cars registered to Barr and his playmates, will you? Hurry it up. We'll assume the tip was on the level and from somebody in Barr's outfit. Now, if his motive was to protect the intended victim, he'd told us who he was, wouldn't he? Is that right?
So far.
All right, he's got to have another reason. Or maybe he's never been mixed up in a murder before and he doesn't want to start now.
Well, I don't know. These boys are all seasoned veterans. They don't stack up.
Who in Barr's outfit does stack up? All I could find are these two here. Powers and Graham. That's right. Both clean, no criminal record. They stand to lose their valuable reputation if Barr decides to get rough. You know, the guy on the phone didn't talk like a hoodlum. He used words like, I can't reveal, apprehend. Very well educated. Could be, well, a lawyer or a high-priced accountant.
It's almost got to be one of them.
Yeah, we got to be sure which one. If we talk to the wrong guy, he's liable to tip Barr off. We can't stop a guy from being murdered if we don't know who he is, can we? I'll tell you what I want you to do. Have Graham and Powers' tail. See if you can find out what they did in the past 24 hours. Here's the report on Powers. There's nothing out of the ordinary. Goes to his office every morning, keeps banker's hours 10 to 3. And he goes home. Quite a family man, it says right here. I'll bet you his wife doesn't know he's mixed up with the biggest crime syndicate in the state.
This just came in on Graham.
Oh? Well, this clears Barr's lawyer. Graham's in Chicago, been there for a week. Now, this might not mean anything, but that phone call was made right here, 3rd and Center. Powers passes that way every day on his way home. Get me an appointment with Powers this afternoon away from his office, huh? Oh, here's your pencil. I'm Dan Matthews.
What's this all about, Matthews? Why all the secrecy?
Mr. Powers, if you're the man who made the anonymous phone call, you understand why I couldn't meet you in your office.
Phone call?
Yeah, that's right. Somebody called to warn me that Johnny Barr was going to commit a murder.
Johnny Barr? The only thing I know about Johnny Barr is one of my firm's clients.
Yeah, we know that. We also know for a long time he's been making a bid for respectability. Wants to invest in legitimate business through a big accounting firm so his money can't be traced.
Now, just a minute, Matthews. Are you accusing me?
I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just saying if you made the phone call.
It'd be ridiculous.
The phone call was made from 3rd and Center Street at 3:15. You pass that way every day on your way home.
Well, so do hundreds of other people. How do you know what I do every day?
You've been under observation.
You've been having me followed.
That's right.
I'm getting up.
Wait a minute before you go. Let me tell you something. If Barr commits this murder, I promise you we'll find out who made the phone call. You know what that means? It means the informer had prior knowledge of the murder. And if you made that phone call, Mr. Powers, you'll be an accessory. An accessory to murder. Now figure out what that means. Think of the headlines, your social position, your business. But most of all, think of your family.
All right, Matthews. I made that call.
All right, fine. Whose bar got picked?
I don't know.
Powers, you've gone this far. Why don't you tell me the truth?
I don't know, I swear. He wouldn't tell me who it was.
Why'd you make the call?
Barr was getting me into something deeper than just keeping books for him.
How?
By making me have a meeting with the boys right in my own office. He said it was safer there. Now, look. They're having a meeting tonight. I can find out who it is, give you a report on it. Tell you exactly what the plan is. If you'll give me police protection.
All right, I guarantee you protection.
As soon as you get the accident reports in, call it a day. It wasn't heavy, was it? Good. I'll okay it today. Matthews might not be back in time. Hold it a minute. Was it Powers?
Yeah, and I want to talk to you when you're through.
Matthews just came in. Put the reports on my desk so I'm not there. What happened?
Oh, was Powers all right and he's scared stiff. He's in a lot deeper than he thought he was.
Did you find out who Barr's after?
No, that's the trouble. Powers says he doesn't know. And he would have told me if he did. I got to go along with him and believe him.
What about Powers now?
Well, I guaranteed him protection for 24 hours a day. I want to make sure he gets it till the whole thing is cleared up.
He's had it since your meeting was set up. It'll continue.
All right, our next problem is to figure out the guy that Barr's going to murder.
It doesn't look like such an easy job. A big-time racketeer makes enemies fast.
Yeah, and a sharp operator like Barr, well, he's not going to endanger his whole organization. Now, if he's going to use murder, well, the stakes might be pretty high.
Did Powers offer any information at all?
No, but he's going to be at the meeting.
And Barr might mention the man's name he's gunning for.
Yeah, that's right. And if he doesn't, well, Powers will tip us off anyway. There's only one thing that bothers me. Powers is scared.
He has reason to be, if Barr finds out what he's done. I hope he doesn't give himself away. Barr wouldn't wait to plan his murder. He'd empty his gun in him right there. It's like you said. We can't keep a person from being murdered unless we know who he is.
Yeah, that's right. Look, I'll tell you what I want you to do. I want you to put a tail on Power's family for 24 hours a day. Now, when I talked to him, he didn't mention anything about his family. He was too upset to think clearly.
Right. He'll have full surveillance. Anything else?
No, I just want to go through these. I'll be out in a couple of minutes. We'll go over some more stuff.
We've got trouble, boys. We've got a crusader out to get us. And if he gets that crime commission set up, we'll blast our operation wide open. You've got to have time. At least 2 months to cover up our tracks. And there's only one way we can get that time. Is to stop Senator Day. And there's only one way to stop him. It's a big gamble either way. We leave the senator alone, we'll all be on the inside looking out. And if we stop him, the public will kick up a storm. That's the chance we've got to take. We've got to have time. So you boys will leave for the capital tonight. The day after tomorrow, the 11th, the senator's due to come here to set up the commission officially. He'll name the members who are going to work under him. They'll have a meeting. And the whole deal will be in operation. We can't let him get here. Lefty, you take the airport. And if he gets on a plane, see that he don't get off alive. And if he should decide to come by train, it'll be up to you, Ed. You know what he looks like. You'll have plenty of time to get to him on the train. I've got a tail on him down at the Capitol already, just in case he decides to leave early. Or if he should take the highway, he'll be followed. I'll work out the plans and details for you, Hank. The highway will be your department. Now, we won't know until the last minute just which way the senator's going to come. So you'll all keep in touch with me by phone. I'll clear all calls and coordinate the operation from here, this place. Any questions? All right, then get going. What are you so nervous about?
Well, how do you expect me to act? I don't like having meetings in my office.
You like handling my money, don't you? You like your fee.
That's not the point.
Makes sense to me. It's about time you got your hands on something else beside my bankroll. Now you know where the stuff's coming from.
Come on.
Okay. I carried out my end of the bargain. You're going to pick him up?
He hasn't committed a murder yet. He only talked about it.
Yeah, but you heard him. You heard him plan the whole thing. Surely you're going to arrest him, at least for conspiracy.
Wouldn't hold without an overt act. Look, the law's been trying to indict Bob for years. When I pick him up, it's not going to be for a 2-week vacation.
Well, what about me? You promised me protection. Johnny will kill me if he finds out.
I promise you he won't find out. Unless you tell him. Wrap it up. I think you're afraid to talk.
Senator Day was warned of Johnny Barr's plot to kill him. But the determined enemy of crime had refused to be intimidated on the grounds that any change in his plans would be a concession to crime. He was determined to be at the meeting to formulate his crime commission on schedule. And now it was up to the highway patrol to get him there, alive. Johnny Barr's men were placed at strategic positions along the highway. Positions arranged to permit an elaborate communication setup, which was to tell them of the escort caravan's every move, if the highway was used. Taking into account all possible moves by Barr, a decoy plan was immediately put into effect. The car that Barr was tailing turned off, changing its direction to the highway, while the decoy car continued on to the airport.
Pick up that squad car.
I thought we were going to the airport.
That's what I hope Bart thinks, too. I'd head for the highway.
Headquarters to 3200.
Car 3200.
Go ahead, 3200.
3200. We've made the switch. We're turning off Orchid Street into Leonard Avenue. We picked up the new Escort. Car 54 is planned at Leonard and Fuller. We are now headed for the highway.
Barr's own strategy was also well devised. They were aware of the switch to the highway, but the patrol was prepared for this too. The problem was now out in the open.
Hello? Yeah? Oh, they made a switch, huh? What time? Check.
Hello? Yeah. Oh? You know what to do. Get going. They pulled a switch. They sent a decoy to the airport. Then took off on the highway. Almost like they've been tipped off.
Tip off? How could there have been? Probably just taking normal precautions.
Maybe.
Hank, they're coming down the highway now. They ought to be past here in about 10 minutes.
Then ought to put them past here about 11:30. We'll be ready. Start her up.
Car 3200.
Headquarters.
3200, bye.
3200. We're now on the highway traveling east at 50 miles an hour. Car 91 is behind us. Car 54 in front of us. Car 78 is cruising a 20-mile area further down.
What about the switch?
3200. Didn't work. They're still in back of us. Between us and car 91. 10-4. 10-4.
Don't get too close to them, or they'll spot us.
That's a fancy-looking car. I'd like to have a hot rod like that.
Pick it up a little. We're almost at Hank's location. We're too far behind.
Car 3200 to car 78. Anything ahead of us looks out of line?
Car 78 to car 3200. We haven't seen a thing. We're cruising a 20-mile area and it looks clean.
Keep your eyes open.
Car 78 to car 3200. 10-4.
Headquarters to 3200.
3200.
I'm worried about the hoods behind you. Do you want me to have 91 pull them over?
3200, no. I'll call car 91 myself and have them pull the car over as soon as we get out of this area.
Right. Any change in position?
3200. Still the same, except we're a few miles further along.
10-4.
10-4.
Car 3200 to car 91. How's everything behind us?
Car 91 to car 3200. You've still got your tail.
Yeah, I know. I get a glimpse of them every now and then.
Thought they were going to move in on you a while ago, but they're still hanging back.
Look, let's not press our luck. Pull them over and check them out, but be careful. These boys might play rough.
Car 91 to car 3200. 10-4. This one might be rough, boys.
Hey, that car's after us. Step on it. We'll lose him. Not so fast. We've got a job to do. We don't want any trouble now. Maybe we'll get away with just the ticket.
All right, boys, let's don't try anything we'll be sorry for. Let's see those hands as you get out. Come on.
Maybe we'll get off with a ticket.
Headquarters to 3200. Anything new?
Car 91 is overhauling the hoods. We're tailing me. More later.
Car 91 to car 3200. We made a clean sweep, and they were carrying an arsenal.
Car 3200 to car 91. That's good work, boys. See what you can get out of them. We want to pin this one on Johnny Bob for sure.
Headquarters 3200. What area are you in now?
3200, 3 or 4 miles this side of Beckett County.
He'll be approaching an S-shaped bend in the road shortly. It's a likely spot for him to try something. Be careful. 10-4.
10-4.
Feels better without him breathing down the back of our necks, doesn't it?
Be ready to move this heap across the road in a hurry.
I hope the boys are on time. I sure hate to handle this job, just the two of us.
No, don't worry. They'll be right behind the caravan. All right, start her up.
Hey, you hear that?
Get ready to pull across the road.
Hold it, false alarm. That's one patrol car out of our hair. That guy will keep them busy all the way to the city.
All right, you know what to do, and do it fast.
Hey, it's a roadblock. Spin it around.
Something must have happened to the boys.
Car 3200 to car 45. Get back here quickly. Hit a roadblock.
Let's make a break for the car.
Car 3200 to car 54. Pull over and wait for us. We're headed your way. You men take care of things here. Get the truck off the highway. We'll pick up 54 down the road. They'll take us in. Take off. Get that man to a hospital right away.
Sorry, somebody had to get hurt.
That's a chance you take on a job like this. But don't worry, he's not hurt very bad. Oh, tell me, Senator, how was your ride?
Well, I won't recommend the speeds like that, but that's the most fun I've had since I was a kid.
You're doing town in about 15 minutes, Senator. We leave now, we can still make it. Let's go.
I don't understand it. Should have been all over by now.
Maybe something went wrong.
What could go wrong? I had it covered from every angle. It was a cinch.
You, Mr. Powers?
Yes.
You're in bad company.
What's the idea of barging in here?
Didn't work, Johnny.
What are you talking about?
Attempted murder is Senator Day. That's good enough, isn't it? Now, don't try to deny it. One of your boys talked. You overplayed your hand this time. Oh, another thing I want to tell you. Senator Day's Crime Commission went into session 15 minutes ago.
That's supposed to thrill me?
Yeah, it should. You're number one on the agenda. All right, take him away. Mr. Powers, we're going to need you for information. I'd advise you to continue to cooperate. The Highway Patrol story next week is a very unusual one. We hope you'll be with us. Until then, remember, the clowns at the circus, they're real funny. But on the highway, they're murder. This is Roderick Crawford saying see you next week.